Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. How are you? I hope that all of you are well by the grace of Almighty Allah. I am fine too. Welcome you all to NIVS Home School. This is Mahmudur Rahman, Assistant Teacher, National Ideal English Version School. Today I am going to take a Bangladesh and Global Studies class for the students of class 10. Today I will discuss on chapter 8, page number 151 to 156. Okay, let's see the board at first. This is the class for the students of class 10, subject Bangladesh and Global Studies, term half yearly. This is your lecture number 2 and your homework number also 2. I repeat again, this is your lecture number 2 and homework number also 2. And your homework will be 5 multiple choice question from today's discussion. Topic chapter number 8, page number 151 to 156. Teacher Mahmudur Rahman, and this is my contact number. The first chapter, the democracy of Bangladesh and election. In this chapter, you have got already a class. In today's class, we will start from the democracy of Bangladesh. After the independence in 1971, we established a new country, and in the country we tried to establish democracy. But the democracy of our country had a hard journey towards the emancipation of the people. Okay, the first point of our today's discussion is the democracy of Bangladesh. Then we will discuss on the political parties, the definition of a political party, the objectives of political parties, and the roles of the political parties in a democratic system. So let's begin with the first point, the democracy of Bangladesh. In the first class, you have learned about democracy and the introduction. What is democracy and what are different kinds of democracies, that means the classification. Since the post-independence till today, there are 3 political parties that came to power in our country. Number 1, the Awami League, number 2, the BNP, and the Jatiya Party. After the liberation, the Awami League first formed the government under the leadership of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. On 15th August, but unfortunately on 15th August 1975, the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and all his family members embraced martyrdom at the hands of some assassins backed by a local and foreign notorious circle. So, after the demise of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the country was under martial law for 15 years after the post-75 political turmoil. That means from 1975 to 1990, in these 15 years, the martial law was prevailed in Bangladesh. There was no democracy. Then the national parliament election was held on 27 February 1991. After different kinds of movement and struggles, we had a national election in 1991. The Bangladesh Nationalist Party, that means BNP, won the election held in 1991, and they ultimately formed a government. Then the Awami League, the Jatiya Party, and the Jamaat-e-Islami began movement demanding the formation of a non-party caretaker government. This is a very important point. The opposition parties, that means when BNP was in power, the opposition parties were Awami League, Jamaat-e-Islami, and Jatiya Party. They demanded that no election can be held under the ruling government. So they demanded for non-government caretaker government, non-party caretaker government. So but the BNP government ignored their demand and held the general election on 15 February 1996. The Awami League and the other political parties boycotted the election, and ultimately there were 13 amendments in 1996. and a constitutional provision for general election under a non-party caretaker government was provided in the constitution. The 7th parliament election was held on 12 June 1996 under the caretaker government, and the Awami League formed the government, getting the majority in the 7th parliamentary election on 12 June 1996. Later on, the 8th parliamentary election held on 1st October 2001, and the four-party alliance led by the BNP Jamaat formed the government. In the democratic situation of our country, a most critical situation came in 2007. At that time, an indirect army interference by the Chief of the Army General Moinu Ahmed took place, and as a result, we lost our democracy again, and the then caretaker government of Fakhruddin Ahmed, Moinuddin Ahmed, and backed by General Moinu Ahmed prevailed in the country. They controlled the political system. After 2 years of this caretaker government, they declared a schedule for election, and the election of 9th parliament and the election was held on 29 December 2008. The Greater Alliance led by Awami League formed the government, achieving majority of the votes. The 10th national parliament election was held on 5 January 2014, and the 11th national parliament election was held on 13 December 2018. And in those two elections, Awami League led by Mahmudur got landslide victory. So this is the democratic history of our country. At first we fought for democracy before the independence, and we got independence in 71, and then till after the death of Mahmudur Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, we had to struggle for 15 years, and in 1991 we again are able to establish democracy in our country. And then there are 11 national parliament elections in our country. Now we will discuss on the second point, that is the political parties. Political parties. At first we will go to the define political parties. Political parties means a representative government, and representative government means a political government. The existence of a democracy largely depends on political parties. Now we will define political party. In general sense, a political party is defined as an organized group of people that tries to assume power in a lawful manner by propagating their political manifesto and forming public opinion. That means political parties are such a group of people who tries to get the support of the common people, of the general people, and work for their betterment. According to Professor Gettel, a political party consists of a group of citizens more or less organized who act as a political unit, and who, by use of their voting power, aims to control the government and carry out their general policies. And we can take another definition from McIver, a political scientist. He says, we may define a political party as an association organized in support of some principles or policies, which by pro-constitutional means it endeavors to make the determinant of the government. That means, from the definitions given by political scientists, we can say that a political party is an organization of the people whose members and supporters agree in opinions about such the problems and seek to take over the power as the constitutional way and to implement the agenda fixed by the party. That means a political party will have some targets, some aims, some proposals for the betterment of the country. They will try to get the support of the people, and they will form a government. The next point, the objective of political parties. What are the aims and goals? The main objectives of the political parties are: number one, to identify the problem of the country and make programs and policies and implement them, being united on principles. That means the political parties will identify the problems in the society and in the country, and then they will try to solve them. Number two, to create public support by making the development policies and plans and place before the public. Number three, to achieve national progress and development of the country by implementing party policies and programs and to keep up the national interest above all. And this is the most important, that a political party will keep the national interest above all interests. That means the national interest will be given the most priority. Number four, to assume power through a systematic legal election process for the fixed tenure and to establish political dominance on others. A political party will form a government or take the power in a systematic way. Okay. So these are the objectives. Now the roles of political parties in a democratic system. In a democracy or in a democratic system, what are the roles of political parties? At the beginning of our today's discussion, I told that a political party is unavoidable in a democratic system. That means democracy and political party are equal. Professor Feiner says, in this regard, modern democratic governance is the political party governance in practice. That means the present modern political democratic government are political party based government. Political parties work after identifying different political, social and economic problems of the country and adopt its policies and through specific programs. Number two, the political parties arrange meetings, gatherings, hold talk shows to make their party policies and plans public. That means a political party will throw some programs, they will talk to the people and they will try to find out their supports, to try to get their supports, and with the supports in the systematic way they will form a government or assume power. Number 3 point, the main function of the political parties is to form the government after winning the election. Number 4, the opposition has an important role in a democratic system of government. Number 5, the political parties play a great role in mobilizing the citizens to participate in the politics and develop a political consciousness. That means when the different political parties uphold their agendas and their manifesto before people, people also become conscious about politics. Number 6, the opposition helps the parliament active by initiating debate, criticizing the policies of the government, raising pending proposals and expressing opinions on different issues. This is one of the most important role of political parties, especially opposition parties. It is often said that for a democratic government there should be or there must be a strong opponent. That means there must be an opposition or more several opposition parties in a democratic system, because the opposition party always try to find out the faults and problem of ruling government, and then as a result the ruling government or the ruling party gets the chance to correct themselves, and they work for the betterment of the people of the state, for in fear of the criticism of the opposition parties. The opposition represents alternative policies to counter the policies of the government and plays responsible role and criticize in a constructive way. Point number 9, the political parties serve as link between government and the people through their members. This is also another important point. The political parties work as a link, they work as a bridge between the government and the people. They offer the demands, the problems of the people to the government. So finally, we can say that the role of political parties to a democratic state are inevitable. The political parties detect the problems and troubles existing in a society, in a country, and they try to solve those problems. So for a democratic society, for a democratic country and state, political parties are inevitable, they are must for the development. Okay, that's all for today's discussion, my dear students. I hope that all of you have understood today's discussion very well. From today's discussion you will have homeworks. Your homework will be 5 MCQ multiple choice question. This is your homework number 2. This is your homework number 2. So do your homeworks, watch the YouTube classes, and attend the online classes regularly. Submit your homeworks on every Saturday. Thank you so much. See you in the next class. Allah Hafiz.